with that corner
Now with R.J. Young, who is on the Tulsa Sports Animal in Tulsa. Of course, you can catch him on YouTube as well, making great videos on college football and on OU. Good morning, R.J., buddy. How are you?
What's up, buddy? I heard it's your first time down the Red River rivalry.
Yeah, it was my first experience, and I got both the OU and Texas side of things because I had some friends from the Texas side, and then I met some people from Tulsa, good folks from Tulsa that hooked me up, and I sat with them too. So I got both sides of it.
That's awesome.
Great,
very cool.
And actually, some of the guys I was sitting with, they were calling for Spencer Rattler a little bit in that game.
No, hey, it's strange because I made this observation. Oklahoma put up 511 yards of offense, and fans are acting like the team never got off the bus. And LSU puts up 511 yards of offense, and LSU fans are ecstatic. It's like, okay, guys, whatever.
Yeah, RJ, I just went ahead and crowned Jalen our third consecutive Oklahoma Heisman Trophy winner after 130 yards on the ground, 235 in the air, and accounting for 4 scores. I think that's a pretty solid performance in arguably your toughest game of the year, potentially. So I think Jalen's flying along admirably. Do you not?
You know, I'm glad you got that national view there, Dave, because I can't see anything but the kid's mistakes. As bad as that is to say, I know he had 366 yards of offense, 4 tutties, but man, you put the ball on the ground like that, and then you threw that egregious interception, his third in 3 games. I don't know that he's going to lose the Heisman Trophy because of that performance, but he ain't helped himself from where I'm sitting. But again, I guess I'm just used to a different kind of quarterback play. Because it's not that he's bad by any means. He's really good. He just does stuff that I don't like. And I guess that's the part of me that's being a little bit, shall we say, nitpicky.
The OU running game is spectacular. I mean, Kennedy Brooks is basically the first out every time he touches the football. We haven't really seen much of Trey Sermon this year, which is kind of surprising. And maybe they're not running the ball with their running backs as much as they should, considering, again, Kennedy Brooks is basically 10 yards to carry. And what's your overall impressions of this running game and kind of how Lincoln sold out the carries?
So I ended up writing about this because I got that question over and over again. Why didn't Trey Sermon get any carries? Why didn't he get any touches? Because his first time ever to not get a single touch in a game. He even had like one against Kansas last year when he was really hurt. But it's just that's how good they are at running back. And Jalen Hurts doesn't look at Trey Sermon out there on the swing pass and say, okay, let me hit Trey Sermon and let him take it the rest of the way. He says, no, I can get that myself. Why would I even throw that ball to him? They're going to back off and they're going to do this thing where they just want to play max coverage when he's off schedule. Yeah, Jalen's going to take off and he's going to get the bulk of your yardage. I mean, we're talking about an OU team that had 200-yard backs against Texas for the first time since '96. So, I mean, I get people being upset that Sermon doesn't get any carries, but that's what happens when you got a stable back there. And it could be worse because we're talking about last year, you lose Rodney Anderson, and most of those backs were hurt. I mean, TJ Pledger had a hip thing, Trey Sermon had an ankle thing. Kennedy Brooks was really the only guy that made it through. Marcellus Sutton broke his leg in November last year. So this is a good problem to have, if it is a problem at all.
RJ Young, our guest here on Big 12 this morning. RJ always gives a great perspective looking at OU. Tulsa Sports Animal, the OU 24/7. RJ, you've been talking about this defense, and this was their opportunity to finally show up against what a lot of people around the country considered, and I still think they do, a legitimate big-time opponent. Snuffed the run game out and completely dominated the line of scrimmage with 9 sacks, 15 tackles for loss. Go ahead and continue to sing the praises of Alex Grinch and his defensive side of the football.
I actually want to give this a little bit of spin, right? Because Grinch said something after the game that I thought was really insightful in that the scheme that they run, and you're watching it, Dave, so you see what they're doing. It's not complicated, right? I feel like I saw 4 coverages out there all day. But the way he decided to dial up stuff, he absolutely knew what he was looking at with Tom Herman because he coached against that offense all of last year at Ohio State, right? So that's one. The second one is, look at what they did against a common opponent. I mean, the best LSU got 530 yards of offense put up on them by Texas. Oklahoma held Texas to 310. Sam Ehlinger could not move. He had people on either side of him and in front of him. And I think it's really about the trigger, right? I mean, you've seen Kenneth Murray Jr. go from thinking and say, you know what? Hey, we're going to give you a trigger. If that tailback flares out, you're going to go smack him. If that quarterback rolls out, you're going to go smack him. On third down situations, we say, hey, just go beat the left tackle. I mean, he's made it really simplistic for them, and that's why the effort is such a big deal, because a simple defense doesn't work if you're not going to fly the football, because everybody knows what you're doing. So you really have to just sit there and say, our Jimmies are better than your Joes, and see if you can't go and beat people. And I thought that was remarkable, considering how much bigger Texas was on the outside. I would have been terrified. 6'6", and Malcolm Epps and Colin Johnson, Devin Duvernay runs a 10-second 100-meter dash. It did not matter, because one team wanted it more defensively than the other team wanted it offensively. And it's not to say Texas didn't come back, put 24 on the board in the second half, but you get where I'm going with this. This is just, if you're going to have a signature win, you wanted the defense to be a big part of it, and they carried the offense, which is something we've never seen in a Lincoln Riley era.
Yeah, I mean, this defense is better than we've seen. We probably still don't even know what the ceiling is in this defense, but it's so interesting because, I mean, look, Jalen Hurts' numbers are prolific, but you watch him and there's more to be desired from the passing game. His best completion was on the flea flicker where he had a wide open CeeDee Lamb, but beyond that, I mean, there was a nice pass over the middle to a tight end, but it was just not impressive in terms of his throwing ability. So what is the ceiling of this team? The defense is better, but the offense is good, but not as, I mean, it's great, but not as elite, I guess, as it's been the last couple of years. How do you sort of look ahead to this team and the ceiling of the season for them?
They were able to beat a top 25 team with defense and running the football, which, as I understand it, is championship level football. You need to be able to do two things, one, to win a national championship. You need to be able to play an outstanding defense, and you need to be able to run the ball on people. If you're not passing the ball well, fine. But as I see it, Jalen Hurts will be the worst OU quarterback to win a national championship, as I see it today. Because I'm looking at like Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Sam Bradford, Landry Jones. Jeez, those dudes couldn't get it done. And this guy might, just because, if nothing else, good defense seems to follow him around. And that's the reason to keep him at quarterback, if for no other reason.
Well, what really shoots out to me, RJ, about this team, and it's something that you question, at least we all question, maybe you didn't, but a lot of people question around the country, is are they physical enough to win the final two games of the season, to win a national championship? And I thought it certainly on Saturday, from a physicality standpoint, we known they could run the football. They ran it for 250 yards a game last year with that really good offensive line. They've stepped that up another level, with Hurts being a big part of that. But now on the defensive side of the football, being able to control the line of scrimmage physically, being able to get after people physically, that's the difference I see in OU. I know that you've talked about it, but certainly that makes them certainly relevant in the Final Four.
Absolutely. I mean, I think you nailed it when you talked about, are they going to be physical enough? I also think, are they going to be fresh enough? Because one of the things that I had just eye-popping about what Grinch has decided to do, when I have always said that coaches complicate the game for themselves to make the game simple for their players, one of the ways that he is making it simple for his players is he's playing more guys. Like, he's putting dudes out there that, frankly, just aren't ready, but he says, how are they going to get ready if I don't play them in meaningful game situations? We're talking about first, second quarter. You're seeing true freshmen on the field playing really meaningful snaps in critical third and long situations, third and short situations. They're getting really good experience for guys like Brian Asamoah, guys like Jaden Davis, guys that might not necessarily play elsewhere or even in the last regime. And I think that's going to be the key. If they get to the Big 12 championship, they win it, they make the college football playoff, it's going to be because they're fresh, right? Because Kenneth Murray Jr. is not going to have played like 1,000 snaps. He's probably going to play around 700, maybe 600. And if you got a fresh set of legs out there in December, when you know that everybody else might not, your depth actually becomes a strength. And that's what we wanted to see, right? Because if you can go 22 deep across the board, you're really, really good. If you can rotate in 6 guys on the defensive line, you're really, really good. And they're getting there, right? They're not there, but they're getting there.
RJ, it was just announced that Landry Jones will be reunited with Bob Stoops as part of the Dallas Renegades of the XFL. Your thoughts on that?
Hey, man, I'm all for Oklahoma South. Can we get Ryan Broyles to go down there as well? Hey, can we get DeMontre Hurst back there? Frank Alexander? All those dudes that are joined up. Matter of fact, Robert Meacham is 35, but I bet he can ball. I'll bet he can ball. Let's get Booker T's finest down there to Dallas Renegades.
I love it. RJ Young, make sure to go check out his YouTube page. Listen to him on the Tulsa Sports Animal and read his stuff in the OU 24/7 network. RJ, you're the best, man. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Hey, man. All right, I love you. Love you too, Dave. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks,
There you
RJ.
go.
Appreciate it.
RJ Young joining us.
I love the energy, man. He's cranked up.